Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
To my Mormon friends, my Latter-day Saint friends, think of him as Captain Moroni. He seeks not power but to pull it down. He seeks not the praise of the world or the fake news, but he seeks the well-being and the peace of the American people.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. But if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
In this security footage, you can see Officer Goodman running to respond to the initial breach. Officer Goodman passes Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around in order to get to safety.
the mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, that was quite the show last night, wasn't it? Trump getting gunned down at a rally. And so now there's provocation to assassinate Biden and even Harris. You shoot our president, we shoot yours. 3rd Nephi, chapter 7, verse 1. And so it's likely that my video will attract the attention of MAGA, who don't give a damn about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so if they see other videos of mine, as YouTube will now recommend it if they click on the one video, they'll be upset with me, and they'll tell me to leave Trump alone. It's great that you're trashing the church, but you stay away from Trump. Sorry, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Trump are simpatico. They are one and the same. Because the Book of Mormon tells me so. And so, yet again, it becomes necessary for all of the new people who even missed my Joseph Smith memorial service this year. I do it every year. Church won't touch it. He's our founder and the church won't touch it. But we're coming up to the greatest anniversary in the history of the world in 10 more days. The day when Brigham Young fled the country with human and child sex trafficking to this little valley here and established the kingdom of God, which was taken away from him the next year by the United States of America. And so yeah, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wants revenge. Brigham Young wanted revenge. And so he died, and John Taylor took over, and the United States of America shut down the church, dissolved it, ceased to exist on the face of the earth. But you still have Mormons that are alive, and I'm being hacked. It's already just 3 minutes in, and I'm being attacked. Alright, it's Sunday. Mormons defending the helpless, little sensitive snowflake church that can't protect their own. They have to have Mormons out on patrol, attacking those who would dare molest or make afraid the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so I should expect at least 2 or 3 more, possibly more, because of the videos I've been exposing about the church. They're pissed. And so yeah, they expect revenge on Biden and Harris. We're going to shoot our president, we're just going to murder yours. This is all part of the process. Goes all the way back 200 years ago. So, we go back to the Revolutionary War. called it the Revolutionary War, right? I didn't call it the Civil War with my associative memory. In that war, America had previously declared independence. We do not want a king governing us, especially one who's clear across the waters. This land is our land, it isn't your land, from California to the New York Islands, from the river to the sea. Wait a minute, that's the... But yeah, that's Britain's way. From sea to shining sea, we're going to exterminate you for declaring independence, declaration of war. It's all from perspective. The American colonists want freedom. We don't want to be in bondage anymore to King George. He's taking advantage of this land. He's exploiting it for his own personal profit. And so we're running it ourselves. And you got to understand that these early deists, not Christians, were under the belief that this was the fulfillment of Jewish prophecy. The New Jerusalem was going to be built on the American continent. And so thus gave rise to many who were writing books talking about the coming of Jews to America. And so a view of the Hebrews, for example, in the Book of Mormon. They knew what they were doing. And so, yeah, you got the Knights Templar who came to America in 1363, bought the land from the Mandan Indian tribe, and then the Sun people of the Sun God at the Sun City just vanished right there at the crossroads of the latter days, where X would mark the spot for the New Jerusalem, the new Sun City, as the old Sun City leaves, making way for the new Sun City. And so the Knights Templar would bury their Egyptian gold treasure plates, 200 pounds. Those guys were buff. And buried them in the caves, and then deceived people into thinking eastward is Little Egypt. Still called that to this day. And so, yeah, that's the whole thing with America and the founding of America. The Knights Templar treasure hidden in America. Nicolas Cage with cute little honey bunny Diane Kruger finding the Knights Templar treasure and incorrectly finding it in New York. No, guys. No. Southern Illinois. Egyptian gold treasure plates. And so, yeah, we really don't need the Egyptian gold treasure plates. We've found enough in Egypt that we have more than enough scriptures to last us a millennium. If only there was somebody who could translate them. Learning of the Egyptians in the language of the Egyptians, not the learning of the Greeks from the Rosetta Stone language of the Egyptians. Wrong translation, guys. Wrong translation. It would require somebody who would first decipher Paleo-Hebrew, that would then lead him to realize that William Foxwell Albright is a complete dumbass and wasted his whole life fooling and conning people into thinking he was smart. somebody else would have to come along and figure it all out. But that would be science. Oh no, we can't have prophet, seer, revelator, and translator be science keys, because then we'd have to actually prove that. See, there's number 2. 6 minutes and a half in. Send me, honest you do, honest you do. I told you, I know these things. I am doing hours-long videos and nothing. But then Sunday morning, when they should be going to church, they claim to worship Jesus, a museon, not real. And nope, they're too busy making sure that they cyber-terrorize my videos. And even after the Trump assassination attempt. So we're trying to build up to it with a video for you. And they're saying, no, 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 Travis can't be true. Sorry, sucks to be you. You fell for the trap. And so, yeah, it was the American colonists who, in response, were considered terrorists. Britain used that as provocation. Oh, that Tea Party. Oh, that's crossing the line. You guys are terrorists. We're justified in coming in and exterminating you now. Subjecting you to our bondage. That's how bullies are. If you don't just let it happen and subject yourself to our will for you, then you are the enemy, and then we must control you by force. Take away your agency, which is what we're already doing. It's just a reinforcement of violence. This is the bullying tactic. And so, yeah, they come in, and Mel Gibson saves the day, and we win the Revolutionary War. The Patriot. And so, time passages, and Joseph Smith marries Lucy Mack. They have a family. He's involved in the York Rites Freemasonry, as Hiram is named Hiram and is spelled Hiram, and Mormons don't understand it if you spell it Hiram, because they've been conditioned to believe that it's Hyrum, and so they don't see it. And so when Hiram was arrested with Joseph Smith at an earlier false accusation by the Danites, he is spelled with his birth certificate name, Hiram. And in Wikipedia, Joseph and the criminal justice system, you do not see Hiram linked to Hiram, because they don't recognize the spelling. They think it's some other guy, and it's not. And so he also gets involved in the 1900s, right before, into the 1900s, with Nathaniel or Nathan Wood, with the New Israelites. It's a branch off of Congregationalism, as he was excommunicated from being a Congregationalist and formed his own church down there in southern Vermont, just down the road from where the Cowdreys lived. And yes, this is where Ethan Smith will eventually come in and will write a view of the Hebrews. He's a Congregationalist. And And so then if you're going to do real research on church history, you're going to need to study about Congregationalists and what they believe and how membership is obtained and all that process. But no, nobody does it. It's left up to me to do it, and nobody believes me because what kind of authority do I have? I didn't publish a book. I did. Interesting. And people just make excuses to believe whatever they want to believe or not believe whatever they want to believe. So yeah, despite shutting them all down, they have to live in denialism. No, not Travis. And so if exponential pattern, 2 minutes, then 6 minutes, so 18 minutes into this video, let's check. Otherwise 10 for 4 minutes after. Let's check to see the pattern. And so he's involved in Jewish Kabbalah. Thus few the Hebrews, Jewish Kabbalah, Congregationalists. They are different than your typical Christian religion. And so Joseph Smith Sr. is a Yorkites member, and he is involved in Jewish Kabbalah. And so then he eventually has to come to Palmyra. We won't go into detail about that and the struggles of him trying to get a job and try to make it work for his family and being kicked out for poverty. As people think that him being a dowser because of Justice Winchell joining the New Israelites means that he was trying to be a money digger. That's where Joseph learned it from. And was it profitable? No. And so was he doing it for a living? No, because he wasn't making money from it. He was trying to make money as a farmer, and it failed. And yeah, there was the volcano in the Philippines that resulted in the summer without a summer here in America because of that. And people just, they purposely leave out evidence when they're doing research. You know, similar to the Rust trial of Alec Baldwin. You can't leave out evidence from a case. It's going to get dismissed with prejudice. I mean, seriously, dear God, even I'm listening to the judge, and because I knew from the beginning, this is weird, you know, you have Alec Baldwin, he played Trump on SNL. People are going to want revenge on him. And here he is, he's doing a movie, as he typically does, because he's a movie star. And he's given a gun for a scene, he has to shoot the woman. And it's got live ammunition in it. He must be devastated. And yet, everybody's trying to claim that it was some assassination plot to blow her away. Seriously? You know, the little girl who's the ammunitions expert, she's in prison now. But she was sure, and she still goes to prison confident that she did nothing wrong, that it was labeled wrong. She put the right ammunition in. And so instead of doing a thorough investigation of the whole crime scene, they're just out for blood. Whatever they can get convicted and punished, they will take. And I'm just seeing this as revenge for mocking Trump on SNL. And so the prosecution They have the evidence of the bullets, and they maliciously mislabel them and file it somewhere else so that it doesn't get used in the court. Yeah, the judge was pissed. This was a malicious thing for a prosecutor to do. All to try to get Alec Baldwin locked up in prison for being the one who pulled the trigger, as actors and actresses do all the time. But there's supposed to be a process involved. But they're saying, we don't like Alec Baldwin's tone. He's a bully. He's threatening us. He's mean. He's a prima donna Hollywood celebrity who thinks he needs to be privileged. Wrong excuse for murder. So yeah, I feel for him. You know, he may be a bad person in reality. It doesn't matter. He was wrongfully accused and maliciously abused in this case. This was just an atrocious travesty of justice. And so, yeah, there's people who get framed all the time for murder, and they don't deserve it. Come full circle, come full circle. And so, he's in Palmyra. He then, May 7th, 6th, 8th, let's go through all the numbers of May, to 1818, he's made a Master Mason, and he gets the farm in Manchester, because he's made the Master Mason of Lodge number 23 in Ontario of Canandaigua, New York. And so that's just south of the farm in Manchester, which was south of Palmyra. And so because Palmyra is within walking distance and Canandaigua requires a horse and carriage, Daddy gets the car to go to work. Hiram has to walk to Palmyra to be the member there in the lodge in Palmyra. Joseph can't, because before 1826 all the rules were completely different than what they are now. And over the course of years, when I talk about the subject matter, people make the boo-boo error of an anachronism, saying that the way things are done now was the way things were done pre-9/11, 1826. No, they weren't. You're a dumbass. You didn't do your research. You just trusted other people from what they were saying is going on right now, and you assumed that it was the same. No. There were stricter rules and regulations prior to. It was after that that they had to loosen up the rules in order to get members back in, because everybody was initially afraid of the big bad Freemasonry, still to this day called an enemy, a terroristic group seeking to overthrow the government of the United States and allow gay marriage. And so we need Project 2025, which will overthrow the Constitution to save America from the liberal gay agenda. This all plays a part of it. This is all the psychological warfare of bullying behavior. Terrorist insurrectionists. And so, as a Master Mason, he has duties and responsibilities. And so, in the spring of 1823, a messenger comes to town, calls himself Nephi, says he has a warning message from the War of 1812. The War of 1812, to go back in time again, because we forgot to do it in order. Our new Congress decides that we're now getting settled in, we're getting things figured out. We don't need Britain's central bank in America anymore, which is now run by Nathaniel Rothschilds, or Rothschild. And so they cancel the central bank and they start an American bank in this new colony. And of course Nathaniel's upset with this. He's losing money now. And so he wants revenge. Revenge! How dare you keep me from making money off of you? And so, yeah, he funds the War of 1812 here in America. Now, there's also the war against Napoleon in 1812 as well. The late war, plagiarized in the Book of Mormon. On purpose. Late war, latter-day war. There's a reason for the plagiarism. Plagiarism is indeed proof of the truth of the Book of Mormon. Just not Christian. So Kwaku was onto something, but he wasn't. Let's shut that down so I don't have that frozen. And we'll have to remember if during the next freeze, which, oops, we're coming close to the 18 minutes, so we'll see. And so, yeah, the War of 1812. William Morgan is involved in this war. Apparently, he learns of a secret threat to destroy America. This war is a cover to allow the Illuminati into America to infiltrate the Scottish Rites, as the Illuminati was assumed that they were here in 1800 trying to attack America then too. And so 1812 was another attempt as they burn down the White House. Okay? Important to understand, they're overthrowing the government, they're doing symbolisms, burnings, like the Confederates and the KKK, burning crosses, burnings, Brigham Young, Nauvoo, his Danites writing in their journals in this valley, yeah, the Kirtland Temple, Spirit of God like a fire was literally burning. I saw it. I didn't attend the meeting, but I saw it. Yeah, whatever. And, it's faith promoting for Mormons, I guess, who want to burn down America. Because it's coming, 3 Nephi 7. Nope, we're after 18 minutes, so, yeah, maybe they'll have left me alone. So it's just the 3 for Trinity. At least they were quick ones. Got them out of the way. But we'll see. They still could do it at any time now. Threatening me. Don't do it, Travis. Don't do it. And so, yeah, William Morgan comes to Western New York. He finds the Batavian Press with David Miller. They're in Western New York, to the west, closer to Niagara Falls and to Michigan. And is given an advance to work on this book that warns of the threat of the Illuminati, that they're going to still try to take over America and constantly cause problems over the generations, but their ultimate end goal is to destroy America. During the Book of Revelation years, given by astronomy, signs in the heavens, from chapters 12 and chapter 19, of the 3 solar eclipses over the United States of America. And so in chapter 12, you have 23rd September 2017 for the coming of the Jewish Christ, not the Christian Christ, but Christians believe that Revelation 19 is the coming of Jesus Christ's second coming in the clouds of glory. And anybody who knows astronomy knew that verse 11 and 17 is 8 April 2024. So no Jesus. But thank God a Christian wrote into the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and 25, that no man knows the day or the hour of the cross of Christ, with the Egyptian flag symbol for God right between it, the Cairo, on 8 April 2024. It's the first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet, Paleo-Hebrew, not Aramaic script. And it is formed over the United States of America. The first and the last, the author and finisher. Alpha and Omega, but that's Greek, not Paleo-Hebrew. The A and the X, the first and last letters. And so, yeah, Christianity suppresses all of this from Christians. They don't see it. They don't care to see it. They don't want to see it. They're looking for Jesus, who has replaced the Jews and their scriptures that they claim now are Christian and not Jewish, and therefore they deny prophecy and revelation, which is science, not spiritualism. Christianity, by falsely accusing the Jews of spiritualism, are the ones guilty of spiritualism. Your beam and mote from Jesus that they now claim as literal history. False accusers. They never learn. And so, like I said, I'm going to be coughing for months. This is the damage that's done to me. I needed to get out and running again, but I can't get back into the cycle yet. Still working on it. And so he's needing another place to work on the book. He can't be there with his family in Batavia. He can't be near the press, because if he is discovered, the enemy is going to want to murder him. They want to keep their secret a secret. It's the whole purpose of secrets. Can't have a whistleblower leaking information. And so he finds Joseph Smith Sr. in Canandaigua, New York, and is there working on the book. Produces 116 pages worth. Joseph Smith Sr. is awesome. He's just a brilliant man. And nobody gives him credibility. And so, yeah, 9/11/1826, the enemy finds out about him. They find out he's working on this book. They need to silence him. And so they falsely accuse him to get him locked up in jail. And he has to pay the fine, which, yeah, it's easily paid. but it was clear that he's being threatened. Don't do it, we're going to murder you. And so, the second time on 9/11, it's up to Joseph Smith Sr., the Master Mason, to do his job, to rescue him. And yeah, there's the scandal of Thomas Monroe, thus the Book of Mormon. Morgan Monroe. Mormon. That there is a plot to destroy America, and there are enemies trying to cause problems. And so most likely seems that Monroe was one who was going to narc on it and exposed William Morgan fleeing the country to Canada. And so, yeah, they had to die. He's the enemy, trying to expose it. But the sheriff who was investigating the crime was punished worse than those who were Freemasons who helped William Morgan get into Canada. How dare you investigate this? You need to cover up and hide. And so, yeah, a reporter is covering this whole mystery, murder mystery. You know, is Morgan dead? He was trying to expose Freemasonry. No, he wasn't. He was an anti-Mason. No, he wasn't. He was exposing the Illuminati and infiltrating the Scottish Rites. This is what the Illuminati does. They infiltrate, rise up in number, rise up in authority, and take over with a coup, and then destroy it and burn it to the ground, and then rise up from the ashes with the New World Order. That's their pattern. And so this is the exact same pattern for the Scottish Rites, but the York Rites had to be taken down with it. As the reporter got his publication out throughout the colonies, almost every single temple of Freemasonry was burned to the ground. It caused such a fear and panic in the American people that they burned them to the ground. And thus, still to this day, there's all this anti-Mormon animosity, anti-Mason animosity. Yeah, Mormon too, once we get to 1838 with the Danites. And so, yeah, the rules had to be loosened to allow more people in, and now you can have women in, for example. And so, Senior has to preserve the book, the 116 pages. He's got to finish it. He needs somebody who's not associated with any of this to continue on to finish the book. Enter Sidney Rigdon, the major author of the Book of Mormon through scientific linguistic analysis. Fact. And so Sidney tells Senior, hey, there was this book in Pittsburgh that never got published. The guy died, and there was nothing that could be done with the book, so I took it and added it to my collection. And so I'm sure that nobody knows about this book. We can use this as an overall template for the structure of the Book of Mormon, as we can put in other works contemporary in the day, over 3 dozen, to create this book with your coding of the warning message to America in the latter days. Okay, great. We'll let you on this. Here's Oliver Cowdery, my nephew-in-law. He can help you write it out as you dictate to him. And plagiarized from the different books. Great. And so they're out in Ohio now. And so Sidney Rigdon takes time to do his sermons, making it believe that everything's going normal, and then during the week spends time working on the book, which would become the Book of Mormon. And so Junior is assigned to be Messiah ben Joseph of Jewish prophecy. And so he's going to take all the credit. And so if the enemy finds out, they're going to blame Junior and want to murder Junior, according to the prophecy of Messiah ben Joseph, who is to set up the organization, resurrect it, and then be insurrected by the Illuminati. They'll find out about him, join the church, rise up in number by missionary work, getting other Scottish Rites Illuminati who are wanting revenge. And so they will join Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball through missionary work, and then they will go out and convert other people to the wrong name of the church, the wrong religion of the church, the wrong title for the Book of Mormon. First one of 1838. Come on, guys, figure it out. Do your research. And so Joseph tells us that for the first little while before Martin Harris came to the Harmony north of Pittsburgh home, of Emma's parents, to work on the Book of Mormon, he was busy copying the characters from the manuscript pages. He can't have the originals, got to preserve the originals. And so Joseph, before Martin Harris shows, is working on getting them copied down. And so whatever it is that he's using to be wrapped in the thing, it doesn't matter. It could be copper plates used for the print press. Anything to distract. And so Martin Harris arrives. The original 116 pages needs to go bye-bye. You got to understand why it's 116 pages, because the book supposedly by William Morgan, that just simply talks about the organizational structure of the different levels up to Master Mason. It's just 116 pages. Exactly, 116 pages by William Morgan. Hilarious. Nobody caught it but me, because I'm the only one who does research. So yes, Joseph Smith Sr. was the one who knew the information, wrote the book, and used William Morgan as the cover. That's by Joseph Smith Sr. He wrote that book, got it published through other sources. And yet the whole world believes that was William Morgan's book, exposing Freemasonry, which everybody knew. All you had to do was attend their meetings as often as occasion would permit. Real simple stuff. Nothing shocking there. You know, it's talking about how a Master Mason does good to his fellow brethren. When they're in trouble, he's there to help them, lift them up, and all of this, and the different levels of the 3 initiatory degrees that anybody knew back in those days. Nothing secret. And still, he knew all of this, wrote the book. Junior, therefore, knew of the information, and yet the Kirtland Temple comes along, doesn't do anything with Masonry, with his Kirtland Temple. And yet he's being accused that when he became a Master Mason himself in Nauvoo, that all of a sudden, oh yeah, now he's implementing Freemasonry with the temple. No, still didn't do it. He kept them separate. It's Brigham. God, you know, it's just stupid. You get people who are stupid, who refuse to study, who refuse to acknowledge bullies blame victims, so that they can get away with what they do. And nobody sees this. And so Martin Harris insists that he's going to be a part of it if he's going to pay for it. That's the problem. He's on the committee in Palmyra, the anti-Mason committee. And so they're on the hunt for anybody who's going to rise up as a Mason. And so they're working on 116 pages, copying it again. And if you didn't know, there's the whole incident where William Morgan wanted proof that the Book of Mormon was true. And so Joseph Smith wrote some scribbles on a paper and called it the Anton transcript, because Martin Harris went to Charles Anton in New York. And yes, that's exactly why Anton had just republished a book of ancient names, and so thus many of those names are incorporated in the Book of Mormon as a result. Oh, Signy Rigdon, you say? Oh, let's see which names we can use. And so yeah, Captain Kidd, that's Sidney Rigdon stuff, guys. Don't be fooled into thinking Cumorah is where the Egyptian gold treasure plates are. No. Southern Illinois, you dumbasses. They're using it as cover. The whole Cumorah in Manchester, no, that's symbolic code. And John Taylor knew this. John Taylor's the enemy, in case you didn't know. Working with Brigham Young, he tells that Joseph Smith said that Joseph Smith had seen the hill Cumorah and that there was a cave with Egyptian gold treasure plates. Ta-da, Southern Illinois. He knows. Everybody knows. It's not a secret. It's only kept from secret from people who don't study. You have itching ears to hear whatever they want to hear. And so it's just, God, pisses me off that nobody wants to listen and hear the truth. Everybody wants their version of the story to be true, and everybody else is wrong. And then they publish one book and think they're the authority. And so, yeah, there's plenty of time for Joseph Smith to get the original. And so this is why Martin Harris is involved. Junior has to babysit Martin Harris because he insists on being a part of it. And so Joseph used to work for him on his farm, digging a well, and in digging the well he found 2 rocks, which Junior had been taught by Senior from being a new Israelite about dowsing and doing a little rock in the hat trick. That's all it was. Dowsing, in case you didn't know. You get 2 metal coat hangers, you put them into L shapes, and then you have them sitting in your hands, not tightly, just loosely, but so that they don't fall. And you keep them parallel with each other. And then you walk over your toilet, a body of water, and the metal will naturally cross. That's dowsing. But they were claiming, Justice Winchell was claiming that it can be done for metals. And yeah, if you've got, the magnets thing, yeah, you're gonna get an attractant thing with that. It's not magic, it's not witchcraft, it's science. It's just taking a metal detector to the beach, looking for loose change. No big deal. But everybody wants to make a big deal about it and claim that that was Joseph's way of making money. No, he's a kid. Kids do things that are cool and funny. And so yeah, with these two rocks, he does the rock and hat trick. He hides things of Martin Harris and says, I can find them with my rocks and a hat. Okay. Oh, wow. Amazing, Joseph. So yeah, kids games. And everybody thinks that Joseph is an adult and should be treated as an adult, and he gets arrested and is treated as an adult. and so yeah, that was over working for is it Josiah Stoll in the silver mines closer to Harmony north of Pittsburgh rather than Harmony, Susquehanna, which was no longer called Harmony, Susquehanna ever since Senior moved to Palmyra in 1816. And so then you have yeah, just the 3 times. Bastards. And so yeah, they're threatening me, in case you didn't know. They've been threatening me for years. I know this pattern. And they know I never stop. And they have to keep punishing me, and I still don't stop. And they don't get it. If you're gonna get an assassin, you gotta make it good. You can't have failure assassins. But yeah, this is going to be provocation to now take out Biden and Harris, as I keep repeating. Because it's coming, 3rd Nephi, chapter 7. They needed provocation for it. Here it is. They got it. And so whether this guy was a real Trump hater or just a patsy to get things going so that MAGA is outraged and wants blood on Biden, doesn't matter. Mission accomplished. Trump's still alive, and so now everybody's going to want blood. And is Trump going to call for peace? Oh, everybody, this was just an accident. I'm okay. Biden had nothing to do with this. Even though previous to this, I was saying that Biden was trying to assassinate me. And here it is. It's a Trump tactic 101 from the art of the deal. God. And everybody's going to fall for it. Everybody's going to give sympathy to Trump. Oh no, Trump, we need to help him with his presidency. He needs to run for office now. He's an American hero. He still has Project 2025. He's going to invoke the Insurrection Act on day 1. He's going to cause bloodbath. I just want to scream. It's like all of these guys are crisis actors. The politicians, the press, they're all crisis actors, purposely put into position to put on a show for us, when the reality is we're all gonna die. God, what the hell. So yeah, red flag operation. Staged event. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So, God. So, where'd we leave off? Let's see. Martin Harris. And so, the 116 pages get written. And Martin Harris is uncomfortable. And this is where he's trying to say, I need to show this to my anti-Mason friends in Palmyra. This is uncomfortable for me. There's too much Knights Templar Freemasonry involved in these original 116 pages. And so Joseph Smith tells him no, but his son dies. He doesn't tell you that in the one version. His son dies. And he goes to the Methodist Church with Emma, because that's her church. They're trying to seek consolement in the Methodist Church. And, oh, you're the guy who was arrested for glass looking? We don't want your kind. Take you and your wife and leave. Their baby just died. This is the Methodists. They're too concerned about childhood games, calling it witchcraft, that they can't take in a couple who comes to them mourning over the loss of their child. And they have to leave the church. There are no such things as prophecies and revelations in these days. All died with the apostles, which they were never prophets, seers, revelators, translators. They weren't prophesying or revealing anything. They had no gifts for that. Hi, Brigham. Nonetheless, and so they had to leave Harmony, north of Pittsburgh. They're not allowed to stay there anymore. They are not welcome. Joseph is a witch, a glass looker. Even though his child died, these Methodists are bullies. Religious bullies. And so, no, Joseph is not more inclined to join them. It's because of Emma. And Joseph, by the way, is supposed to be a Congregationalist. But women can easily sway men to the dark side. And so he has to go back to Daddy, along with her parents, who are all kicked out of Harmony north of Pittsburgh. Joseph Smith is chastised by Dad for allowing Martin Harris to take the 116 pages to Palmyra to possibly expose them as being the ones who carried on Martin Harris or William Morgan's book. Their lives are now in great jeopardy. So Junior is put on timeout for a whole year. No translation by the gift and power of rocks for you. And so, with the parents-in-law, Smith Sr. says, hey, down in Pennsylvania, below where you were arrested for a glass looker and where you eloped with Emma, there's this town that used to be called Harmony. Why don't you take your parents-in-law down there and get yourselves some homes? And there's the receipt for Junior getting a separate home on the land of Emma's parents, dated during that time period. And Joseph Smith somehow had $2,000 to pay for it. A Mormon thought he ruined my whole theory with that document. Proves I'm wrong. Where's Joseph getting $2,000 from? Why isn't he using it to finish the Book of Mormon and publish? Because that's how much it costs to publish a book. $2,000. This is all symbolic coding. Oh, you ex-faux nevermos, you got punked. And Mormons, dear God, guys, come on. So yeah, they go down there and they build the homes as a cover so that now people will never know about Harmony north of Pittsburgh, which was between the farm in Manchester and Sidney Rigdon in Ohio. The road straight through to both. And so now, yeah, where Joseph Smith is arrested as a glass looker and where he got eloped to divert away from his plausible deniability, distancing are all involved here. Got to protect the book. Got to distract with these other things to throw people off the trail. And it's worked for the most part until Joseph published the book with the Solomon Spalding manuscript in it. And so this is what's been going on. This is the threat. And so yeah, Book of Mormon comes out. Heber C. Kimball figures it out. In his Wikipedia page under Masonry, it's all a lie. None of that happened. Like I said, pre-1826, 9/11, things were different. You are not allowed to do certain things. And so what Willard or Heber C. Kimball is talking about is code for him having figured out that Joseph Smith Sr. is the one responsible. And so when he joins the church and initially goes back to his home to convert just a whole number of guys, those guys are the enemy who want to destroy America, but were furious with what happened on 9/11/1826. Smith saved America. And so Heber says, I found them. They've published the book. It's called the Book of Mormon. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to call it another testament of Jesus Christ. We're going to make it literal history. This will cover up the intended coding of our future plans. And then we'll rise in number, rise in rank, then we'll coup the church and take it over and burn it to the ground, and then we'll rise up with the New World Order and take over the United States of America and then the world. The world is not enough. We'll have to go out into outer space and conquer other planets. Klingons, the Bajorans, Vulcans, the Shafar, Gold, Nox. Throw in Battlestar Galactica for the Mormon. Yep. The Capricorns. Yep. I'm thinking that's going to be next, whenever I get finished with Stargate. Do a whole Battlestar Galactica thing. And we'll have to do the old original one first, because those templates were being used by the cute little teenage girl who created Meta. Which would then be used in the Cylons for AI Terminator robots. Who would then become Cylons. And then the hot 7, number 7 Cylon, whose spine glows during sex. Awesome. Alright, so we're over an hour now, aren't we? And so, yeah, this is what they did. 1838 was the coup. They were trying to set up Joseph Smith for failure, get him locked up in jail so that they can just take over his church. Constantly reminding him, don't do it, Joseph. We know who you are. We're threatening you. We're going to murder you. We're going to get worse. We're going to escalate. Stop. Don't do it. Of course he can't stop. It's necessary for Joseph Smith to do what he's doing, to warn America. And see how many people hate Joseph Smith? Even Mormons hate Joseph Smith, because he's going to expose the truth that Mormons are the enemy of the people. This is the diversion. Everybody thinks that Mormons are from Joseph Smith, and that as Mormons are now, Joseph once was. And as Joseph once was, Mormons are. No! Brigham, not Joseph. Everybody fell for it. Like I said, Brigham, not a prophet, seer, revelator, or translator. Even as a kid, I'm going, why are none of the presidents of the church translating new documents for us? There's all these documents that have never been translated. So, yeah, that's why they couped the church. They stole it and replaced it with Christianity. And so the bank in 1837 was sabotaged. This was to set it all up in motion so that Brigham Young can then establish his economy, which became Section 119. And guess what date he put it as? 1838. There's a reason. He's setting up Joseph Smith to falsely accuse him and blame him so that Brigham can do it. It's the word of the Lord, have to do it. Joseph Smith, he's our founder. We have to do what Joseph Smith says. Well, yeah, but the Book of Mormon says no. No priestcraft. No extortion threats. No protection racket. This Lord Joseph, see his name. No. But yeah, people fell for it. Still to this day, people fall for it. Church keeps pushing it. It's Joseph Smith, word of the Lord, Section 119. And they ignore the Book of Mormon. 2 Nephi, chapter 26. No priestcraft. Lord hates it. It's abominable. It's an evil practice. Oh, the Lord wants Section 119. Everybody falls for it. Blatantly obvious what's going on. And so, yeah, this is what happened. You get Danites who take out loans from the bank and didn't pay them back. Thus, the bank failure. They purposely sabotaged the bank to get Joseph in trouble. And it worked. But Joseph got out. So in 1838, all right, we got an election coming. They're going to try to get this person who's going to want to redevelop our secret headquarters land in Adam-on-Diamond. We can't allow them to redevelop our land. This is our headquarters that we're using as the latter-day symbol type for what we're going to do between 2017 to 2024. And so they amass all of their Danites and they recruit some. Benjamin Franklin Johnson moves his family to Adam-on-Diamond and is arrested by Mormons, Danites, the enemy. And they say, deny Joseph Smith or I'm going to shoot you. It says that the Danite is a hooligan. And then Benjamin Franklin Johnson, still in seminary to this day, we are told, said, I did not deny the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So you denied Joseph to become a Danite. Yep. This is what the Danites did. They threatened Mormons. Joseph Smith is our Danite leader who's being oppressed in jail. He's changed the name of the church to Jesus Christ. The Book of Mormon is now another testament of Jesus Christ. It's no longer Jewish. And if you don't join, we're going to murder you and burn your house to the ground. We're at war with America. They're trying to murder us for what happened in that election polling. And so you get Cox, Stewart, and Lee, all of their third great grandfathers are gathering there at the polling station in Davies County, I think it's Caldwell, to vote, and they're threatening voters. Don't vote for this guy. He's going to be taking away our land, developing on it, and it's our secret headquarters to destroy America in the future. Hey, you're not supposed to leak that. and no. And they're causing yelling back and forth, trying to get the other people to be provoked, and sure enough, Chris Stewart's third great grandfather gets knocked to the ground first. So now the Danites have provocation and the fight commences. And the Danites are well outnumbering them. And so after the fight, they're demanding that the sheriff and the judge of the area sign affidavits saying that it's Joseph who's doing this. Joseph is 2 days away in far west Missouri. He has no ability to get there to be in charge of any of this. He has no clue what's going on. He's there selling land to Emma. for some stuff that they're doing. It's in the Joseph Smith papers. It's amazing how Joseph Smith is innocent if you just check the Joseph Smith papers. And they are forcing the judge and the sheriff to say that Joseph Smith is the one who's there. Somebody forged his name. And they want to decertify the election. Hey, that sounds familiar. And thus, the Mormon War begins. And so, they're not innocent. These Danites are not innocent. And they're not just defending things and whatever. And so, yeah, Thomas B. Marsh, he eventually says, I can't go along with this, guys. And they threaten him. And so, yeah, it's our plans to take the state of Missouri and then the United States and then the world in the latter days. So he signs that in his affidavit and says that he was told that it was Joseph Smith who's going to do it, who's the leader of this Danite group. Oliver Cowdery, who had left the church earlier in 1838, before the Danites struck, is being told by David Whitmer, who's chased out of the church by the Danites, threatened that Joseph Smith is in charge of all of this. And Oliver Cowdery is shocked. He changed the name of the church? Yeah. David Whitmer is being told that Joseph is doing all of this. He's in Liberty Jail. He's been framed. The extermination order of Thomas B. Marsh to Governor Boggs, the affidavit, resulted in Joseph Smith getting locked up in Liberty Jail. And so the Danites, having lost their home, their headquarters in Adamon-Diomen, are now saying that their second coming in the latter days will be when they resurrect it with the code from the way to perfection, that's how they're going to get the government back, claiming it's a super sacred secret meeting where the keys of Lucifer of government is going to be handed over to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the latter days. And so Nelson makes it very clear. We are the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The government is ours. We are going to restore, resurrect, all of the abominable practices of Section 119 and human and child trafficking, slavery trafficking, and child and woman sex trafficking. Everything that's in Project 2025, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will be restoring. That's them. They wrote it. It's from them. They've been working with evangelicals. They've been working with the Council for National Policy. They've been working with the Heritage Foundation. They've been working with psychology. All to destroy America. This is the big plot. The Book of Mormon is warning you about it. You've got antichrists who are trying to claim that psychology is the way to go. And Joseph Smith says, no, science. That's Senior, who had to rewrite the 116 pages, by the way, in case I forgot to mention. Because he's the only one who knows. And so, yeah, the 116 pages of the William Morgan supposed document, yeah, that's code for the 116 pages that Joseph Smith let Martin Harris steal and potentially expose them for who they are. Because that's what they're talking about. They're talking about this Illuminati who wants to alter the book to try to expose this as not a plot to destroy America. And so, yeah, the Book of Mormon starts off by Joseph Smith Sr. having to rewrite it while Jr. is in timeout, pretending to have had $2,000 in pocket to pay for a home down in Susquehanna River, which was no longer called Harmony. And so, yeah, you see the Yorkites Masonry, the Temple of Solomon in the Promised Land in America, Nephi as the Christ, the Cairo, X marks the spot. All of that is Senior with his Jewish Kabbalah. And so the date is from Revelation chapter 12, right there, verses 8 through 10 in chapter 1 of 1 Nephi. 23rd September 2017, when Nephi is born in the Book of Mormon. Brilliantly written by Joseph Smith Sr. And everybody gets distracted, saying it's plagiarism. Oh, Junior was plagiarizing Senior's Tree of Life dreams of Jewish Kabbalah. Wow, you really didn't do your research, did you? If it's Jewish Kabbalah for the Tree of Life, what is the Tree of Life in Jewish Kabbalah? Messiah ben Joseph, to prepare the way for the Mormon who would be Messiah ben David. 180 years from the death of Joseph Smith Jr. is the year when the millennial Zion is supposed to be. But nope, nobody wants to go. God. I do all these videos. And yeah, there's tons of information, and yeah, I don't know each and every single one of you so that I can tailor my information to how you will receive it. I can't do that. I'm speaking to a general audience of people I have no clue who you are. I have to do it my way. I don't like your tone. You're ugly. Your room is a mess. If you'd quit coughing, I could hear your message. You're just making excuses not to listen and not to believe. And I am expecting a whole bunch of Trumpers to attack me. You leave Trump alone, I'm gonna murder you. Yeah, good luck with that. Church has failed. God, you guys are all on the same team and you're fighting against each other. But purposely, because the church wants Mormons destroyed. They're destroying Joseph Smith once and for all with this. So yeah, they are saying, yeah, Joseph Smith, polygamist, raped little girls. What are you going to do about it? Jesus. Joseph Smith violated the Book of Mormon. He named his church Christian. What are you going to do about it? We're the true Christian church. Bleep you, Christians. Yeah, purposely angering other people to incite violence against Mormonism. Yeah, oh, we'll help build bridges with LGBTQ, and then we'll burn it. Oh, women are sensitive snowflakes wanting to wear slacks. Fine, here you go. Yeah, we're gonna put you in polygamy. God, no more education for you, no missions, no career. You are a breeder. Project 2025. So, Yeah, this is the whole plot. They couped Joseph Smith's church in 1838, but Joseph Smith got out. And so, despite Nauvoo being the new Danite headquarters, they still had to lock Joseph Smith up. Kept locking him up over and over again. And I see this. I am constantly under attack. The same things over and over again. These guys are psycho. And it's the attrition war. If they keep doing it, eventually they'll wear me down. Still hasn't worked. Keep trying. I keep coming out with bigger and bigger bombshells connecting what's going on to warn you, my general audience. And so, yeah, and nobody's doing anything to stop it. Our federal government's not listening to me. The president's not listening to me. The attorney general's not listening to me. Nobody's doing their job to protect America. And so, yeah, the FBI is now involved in calling it an assassination attempt against a former president. And yet they have no interest in taking down a president who's trying to coup America right now, who's got a whole bunch of MAGA followers who are insurrecting the government, coupping it right now. Supreme Court couped America, overthrew the Constitution. Our government's not doing anything to stop them. Oh, AOC? Well, she filed impeachment charges against Alito and Thomas. I'm sure that'll go far. Our government is overthrown. This is it. This year, they failed in 2020. They got Trump in for the 2016 election. Rigged it with the help of Russia, a foreign government. Babylon. Rome. Egypt. Egypt says Pharaoh. Rome says Herod. And Babylon says Zedekiah. They're all the same thing. They're all Trump. He is the king. And so 3rd Nephi 7, they did not establish a king. There wasn't supposed to be a government after 2020's election. But there were people who stood up and protected and defended America when they weren't supposed to. They're Republican. They're supposed to allow Trump to win. They sacrificed their honor and integrity, or lack of honor and integrity, to have honor and integrity, to be hated and hunted by MAGA. Liz Cheney, enemy of the people now. Mia Love showed Trump no love. Enemies of the people. And so this is it. They failed in 2020. That was the Exodus year. I parted the waters for Mormons to pass through on dry land to go to Zion so that we can be at peace. And you refused to rise from the grave. You remained in bondage to Jesus with your underwear. And so then the second resurrection of ex-foes, yeah, you don't want to believe either. You still say that the view of the Hebrews is plagiarized in the Book of Mormon, and therefore it's a fraud. That Joseph Smith raped little girls had nothing to do with Brigham Young claiming Joseph Smith raped little girls, so that Brigham Young can claim that his Danites can rape little girls. And keep a record of it, that none of it happened in 1843, none of it happened in 1838, but yet it has to be true because Joseph Smith has to be this church. It can't be separate churches, the Church of the Lamb and the Church of the Devil. No, they're one and the same. There are only one church, Travis. Book of Mormon is wrong. There are two churches. No. Not two churches. One church. Church of the Lamb is the church of the devil. So yeah, Trump got put in 2017, just as the Book of Mormon told you it was. And sure enough, on 23rd of September 2017, after already giving you the fruits of who I am, of a prophet, a seer, revelator, and translator, and showed up on the 23rd of September 2017 with a brand new website with the business level so that I can post videos and audios. Church would shut it down in 2019, the day after I filed a lawsuit against them. And so yeah, the two lawsuits in 2020, let my Mormons go, Pharaoh said no, parted the waters, Creeping Death, Metallica. Wife cut my hair after we were married in the Philistine Temple, room number 13. Had our wedding supper feast at the Lion House next to the Beehive House. She cut my hair and betrayed me to the Philistines. The bishop said, "Stop posting videos about how the Book of Mormon is true. It's going against the prophets. Why do you bother to come to church?" Okay, good point. Bye. Yeah, Bill Blunt, my neighbor. Did you know Joseph Smith had a pistol in Carthage jail? Yeah, my third great-grandfather. Did you know he had two? Oh, no, I didn't know. I'll go do some research on it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Inside job. I need to go back to the beginning. Thus started with Joseph Smith Sr. and Lucy Mack in Vermont with their little family. Been doing the research. The same process that I did my research to decipher Paleo-Hebrew, which then led to the decipherment of the learning of the Egyptians and the language of the Egyptians. And all Mormons want me dead. It's got to be kept a secret. And so, yeah, my life has been threatened multiple times. I was hospitalized numerous times because they're trying to murder me, trying to keep me from my property, keep me from posting on YouTube. They don't want you to know that I know, so that you would know. They want America destroyed. It's the only way the church is getting their kingdom back. They can't even give it to Trump because Trump isn't going to give it to them. They're going to try to steal it under Trump's nose, but that's dangerous. So yeah, it's all of this. It wouldn't surprise me at all if this was a purposeful botched shooting. It was the second shot that clipped his ear, and then the others completely missed him. I mean, dear God, you suck. He hit somebody else, apparently. There's one other person that died, and of course he, being the shooter, was taken out. And so now we'll never know what was really going on. We'll never know if he was a patsy to provoke MAGA to now want to murder Biden. But they've already been saying there will be blood, a bloodbath, bloodshed. If Trump wins, there will be bloodshed on his first day when he does the Insurrection Act. There will be a bloodbath if he loses. Either way, there's going to be blood. And so, yeah, this diversionary tactic now has all of the press saying, oh, Trump is a victim. Oh, we need to help him win. Yeah, Biden, yeah, he's not going to last 4 years. So let's give Trump a chance. He's learned his lesson now. He would never overthrow America, never cause mass deportation with Project 2025. He wouldn't actually do it. It's just a joke. You knew who he was when you saw him. And yet you let him fool you into picking you up to take him across the river, and then he bit you. Poisonous serpent, and now you're gonna die in the river because you knew who he was. Why do you think Trump would say that little poem? He's the biggest beam and motor and leaker ever. He just lays it all out for you. And he laughs because not a single one of you realize that that's what he's doing. He's telling you his whole plans, his whole plot. God. We're all doomed. 3rd Nephi 2027, or 3rd Nephi 7. Chief Judge of the land is gonna be assassinated by the secret combination. So this is just to help move things along. This was part of the multiple waves. Trump saying it, that Biden's trying to assassinate him, when he was previously came out and said, yeah, I'm fully within my rights to use SEAL Team 6 to assassinate Biden. When long ago in his presidency, and even before running for president, yeah, I can shoot somebody on 6th Avenue and I could get away with it. Yeah, he's talking at his rallies, yeah, you shoot him. This is why he has to have guards protecting him, because he's calling for the abuse of other people, purposely trying to get those people to rise up and defend themselves, so that he then can accuse the victims of being the abusers and the assaulters and the assassins. He purposely brings it on so that, if he dies, he becomes a martyr and he becomes Jesus. And then MAGA rises up and causes civil war. And nobody sees the danger we're all in. The government's refusing to do their job. We're all doomed. Nobody cares. We're all getting played. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is expecting to rise from the ashes, because nobody went after the church. The church was involved in the orchestration of this from the beginning. I even learned Trump, when he leaked that the CIA were responsible for the assassination of JFK. We all know the CIA recruited Mormons. They go on missions to foreign languages, they wear the suits, perfect candidates for the CIA. And so sure enough, the CIA were involved in the assassination of JFK, thus Mormons. Mormons were the shooters. It wasn't one shot. It wasn't multiple shots from the same direction. No, anybody who watches the video, he's getting shot multiple times from multiple angles, even though they tried to edit it. And so no, it was very clear. It wasn't an ambush. And our government doesn't want us to know about it. That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints were called upon to have a president of the United States assassinated. And yeah, Tippecanoe, every 20 years, on a 0 year, when there's a president, there's an attempted assassination. And still, but Trump, he didn't win. He never conceded. That's the whole trick. That's why I'm very curious about this, because in 2000, 20 years ago, with Bush, we had that big election scandal. It was Gore, wasn't it? Bush v. Gore. And so Florida, all of a sudden the Floridians who have been voting for decades no longer know how to vote. And so we have to try to rig the election to have Bush win Florida. And so who's the governor of Florida? A Bush. And so he steps in, violates the Constitution, that Congress is supposed to deal with it, and instead takes it to the Supreme Court of Florida, where that he owns and operates. Of course they side with Bush. And so Gore, despite winning the popular vote by a landslide, concedes rather than putting up a fight for his country. And so the Bushes, with Poppy Bush, who was there at the assassination of John F. Kennedy, there at the corner, and the plane ticket to Dallas, and the hotel receipt there in Dallas, and the photograph of him at the corner, he's involved in this. And so now you have him and his son, who are now presidents, and then all of a sudden we're 9/11 happens, and the people who were security for the trade towers was another Bush brother, and so the records have to be deleted. Nobody was security for the trade towers a year previous, when, we'll admit the Bush brother was security a year before, but he had to quit because his brother won presidency. No, he doesn't have to quit because his brother won the presidency. Who's the security for the trade towers during 9/11? They won't tell us. Wikipedia won't tell you. It's covered up. And so, big old cover-ups and scandals. And so he blames Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with it. That's just your family's dispute over oil. Daddy wants revenge for the Gulf War. Which I still remember on my mission. I was on my mission when Bush declared war against Iraq. I was in Connecticut, and we had a member in New Canaan, which was the second richest city in the nation at the time. And we had a member appointment to go visit him at his mansion. And while we were outside, where you can see massive land, and he had a tennis court and other stuff out there, he was talking to us about how if we want to get rich, read the Book of Mormon, and you'll be rich beyond your wildest dreams, just like him. And I'm thinking, I don't recall the Book of Mormon talking to me about becoming rich. I mean, there's the seek for riches to do good, but I'm not seeing how the Book of Mormon is saying that I can become filthy rich. So I didn't give it much credibility. But yeah, he was trying to claim that, and he gets a phone call in the middle of our conversation. It's a business call. He's getting contacted by a guy who's involved in the stock trading for his company. And he's panicked. He's saying, what do we do? What do we do? Oh, the stocks are falling. Do we need to do this and that and that? And the Mormon, no, this is not Armageddon. Do not sell the stock. And then hangs up, and again we have, it's time to leave now. But again, he reminds us, you want to be rich, read the Book of Mormon. God. And so yeah, Peter Paulino died there in the towers. He worked there. He took me to his office as I was going home, because I'm there finishing up in the Bronx where he was. And he had taken us to the Marriott that had the revolving restaurant. He took us to dinner there. And so I'm there at his office in the tower as he exchanges all the coins that I'd collected, picking them up off the street, because I needed them to buy food. Because the bike fleet that was additionally taken out of our paychecks for future missionaries made it so that I literally was living off of a 50-cent or 25-cent Little Debbie brownie. Didn't have money for anything else. Lost 50 pounds on my mission. And I'm in the prime of my life. I was at the perfect height and the perfect weight, perfect muscle tone. I was Superman. Had the Superman curl. That's the House of L curl. Everybody who's from the House of L has the curl. And it's not L in good cell, it's God from good. That's the L. And good cell is not Hebrew. The good is more Germanish, even though we were English good cells, from the British Druids, who were the good cells. But it's that Germanic God, like Godfrey, Godman, which is also pronounced Goodman. And so, yeah, God Soul, S-O-L. And that's for sun, that's sun God. But, just tragic that nobody cares. So, yeah, here we go, 2-hour video, yippee-ki-yay. Nobody's gonna care, nobody's gonna watch.